Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce Business at Breakfast. Today, we have an exciting presentation on Estate Planning 101. We have our group of chamber folks here, so welcome this morning. Let me give a brief kind of intro before we get started. Previously, we've been doing our Business at Breakfast. We have a series of things that we go through. One of the things is our 30-second commercials. Just a reminder that it's 30-second commercials and not 2-minute commercials. So let's make sure we keep those to 30 seconds and we can get started. But before we do that, what we'd like to open up for is any kind of public announcements. So if any of you guys have a public announcement, now would be the time to share that. Does anybody have one?
Hey, good morning, Zeb, Terry. So I want to invite you guys to an event this evening that Vicky's putting on called Do You Neo. I'll put the link into the chat box, but basically it's a free event. It's from 6 p.m. And her guest tonight, and I'm terrible, I want to say his last name, he's the #1 expert in Facebook marketing. So he'll be on her show tonight, and that's at 6 p.m. And I'll put the link in into the chat box. So please join her. It's called doyouneo.com/register, and you can register for the event. There's no cost. And that's every week, by the way, for the next 10 weeks.
Perfect. Thank you, Terry. Oh, we have Jeff here. We've kind of talked about doing we can do the pledge if we want to. Since we brought it up, let's do it. Normally we try not to. It gets a little awkward when you're doing it on the Zoom, but we can do it. So Jeff, everybody look at Jeff. As is that with the American flag in the background. Jeff, do you mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance this morning?
Sure. Every right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well done, everybody. And since we did that, we might as well do our invocation.
That was
Gonna have Drew. Drew, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Would you mind doing our invocation this morning?
Oh, sure, I'd love to. Heavenly Father, we just thank you and praise you for all the blessings that you give us. Even though you've got us in a weird state right now, we understand that you're in control and that you're the one who makes the final decisions on where we go and what we do, Lord. We just thank you for all that you do for us and just ask that you continue to work with our businesses, Lord, to help us make us better, to help us grow in this time, to help us look forward to the future in a positive way, Lord. We just thank you and praise you in your mighty name. Amen.
All right. Thank you, Drew. Okay, so we're on to our 30-second commercials. I am going to try and include that in the chat box about keeping people up to date on who's going up. So I'm just going to go in the order of it is on my screen. Just a reminder that these are 30-second commercials, so try to keep it to 30 seconds so we have time for our speakers to present. With that, I'm going to pass it off to Rose. So Rose, you're up for your 30-second commercial.
You say I'm up?
Yeah.
morning.
Well, good morning, Chamber.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Rose Study, and I'm with Roses Say. I am your local florist. Do I need to pop it? Okay, there we go. What I do is I customize personalized flowers just for you. I can put your name, your face, a logo, a phrase, or whatever you want on real flowers. And we are now prepping for Valentine's Day. I'm sorry, Valentine's. See, because of this COVID thing, and it has me off. Mother's Day. We do have flowers. I do have growers that are sending me my flowers direct. So yes, we can provide for you. Say it with the Roses Say, your local florist.
Perfect. Thank you, Rose. Stephen Torrey, are you able to speak? Going once, going twice. Okay, Jeff, you're up.
Morning, Chamber. Jeff Backer with Ultimate Source. I'm just going to speak to what we had last week with Christina doing her presentation. If you are a small business, there are 2 programs that can help your business. Please go there. There's the PPP and the EIDL, which is EIDL loan. Both of them, are low cost ways. The PPP is a forgivable loan for payroll. So, there are items out there for your needs as a small business. Please go to sba.gov and let them help you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Robert?
Robert, you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Me?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear
Robert,
you.
right?
You called me. Oh. Yes, but I heard Albert. Okay. My name is Robert Ceja, owner of Robert's Bariatric Services, a weight reduction method. The Chinese symbol for crisis is really composed of 2 words, and it's danger and opportunity. And we're aware of the danger, but the opportunities are coming up all over the place for us as we're discovering them. So I want to plant an opportunity to discover how you gain weight. And in so discovering how you gain weight, you can learn how to not gain weight and really establish the method, which is a method of attrition. It's very easy. It's perfect for doing it at home. So I'd say learn something. Robert Ceja from Robert's Bariatric Services. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. And just a reminder that this is going on Facebook Live right now. So for those of you that are in our audience today, if you wouldn't mind sharing this with yours, it's going through the Facebook Live. It's on our Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce Facebook page. So if you want to help get the word out about that way we can have folks watch it on our Facebook Live as well. So thank you, Robert. Jim Gallagher, you're up. Jim
Gallagher.
Jim, are you there?
Morning, everybody.
Oh, there you go.
Me. I'm off mute.
Yep.
Yeah, Jim Gallagher, Chino Hills Dog Park nonprofit. We exist to raise donations for animal advocacy groups. We help our pets. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Kavita.
Did that go through?
Yes. Kavita, you're up.
Hi guys, how are you guys doing?
Good.
My name is Kavita. I'm the broker owner of KB Real Estate. We're a commercial real estate company located right here in the Chino Valley area. I know a lot of people may not be looking at expanding locations for their business right now. However, they do need advice or assistance in dealing with, if you're a tenant, you might need some advice on dealing with your landlords, or if you're a landlord, you need advice on handling situations with your tenant. You may not be getting rent, but you got to pay your loan. Situations like that, if you need some advice, you need some guidance, we are available. You can reach out to us. My cell phone number is 909-210-1570. Feel free to call me with any of your questions and I'll be glad to walk you through it. And if you need me to step in and talk to people, I'll be able to do that as well. It's a service that I'm providing to a lot of my existing clients right now, and also for anybody else that needs a little advice during this time. Thank you so much for your time.
Perfect. Thank you, Kavita. Chris.
Is it me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good morning. This is Chris Kennedy with the City of Chino. Thank you guys all for joining in on the call today. Going off of what Kavita said, she's exactly right. That's one of the biggest issues we're dealing with right now is landlords demanding rent and tenants not being able to pay. I guess the biggest issue with that is that long term, if a landlord decides to evict a tenant, it's going to take at least 12 months to backfill that because no one has any money and no one is starting any new businesses in the near future. So it's in landlord's best interest to work with them to defer payment for some time. You're obviously obligated to pay the payment. You made a promise to do so, but we're happy to help and work with them as well to make sure that that happens. And I appreciate brokers like Kavita who you signed a lease with someone and you help facilitate that happen, and continuing through the process when it's difficult, even at this time, you're not making any money anymore on it, is the right thing to do. And I appreciate that. If you guys need any help or you have any questions, please feel free to contact myself or Alex, or go to our webpage, and there's lots of updated information on that. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Chris. Renee.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Renee Mehta from the 2020 Census, United States Census Bureau. Just to let you guys all know that please fill up your census. We need it more than ever before. There are new reports about the census data helping us fund vaccines, and we need that coming forward. So please help. Please ask all your families and friends and everyone to participate as well. The census has been online at 2020census.gov, but this week they will be mailing out the paper questionnaires. So if anyone had a hard time just going online or doing it over the phone, paper questionnaires are coming out over the mail. And so please help them fill that out as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Renee. Heather. Heather, are you there?
I'm here. Good morning, everyone. Heather Nishioka with Chaffey College. We have successfully gotten all of our students online. We've been passing out laptops, working with students, giving them emergency grants. Things are going well, and the students have been amazingly resilient, and the faculty have responded. So all is well, and we are looking forward to the day when we can have everyone back on campus.
Thank you, Heather. Rachel.
Good morning, everyone. Rachel Arcega, LNR Promotions. We are doing our best right now to do business. We do have a lot of the PPEs, the masks, but we do have any of the promotional products. So looking for businesses to work with, have them call me. Through discussions, I could help them, give them resources, and also give them ideas how to network online, find things that they could give them ideas to work their way through this process, or the changes that are happening. So let me know. I'm here to help.
Thank you, Rachel. Jim Maloney.
I didn't see my name on deck or in the whole thing, but go ahead. Jim Maloney, Transamerica Financial Advisors. Can everybody hear me okay? Just nod your head. I can see you. Well, thank you. I am branch office supervisor and part owner of our office on the corner of Chino Hills Parkway and Ramona in Chino. I am now in my 21st year at Transamerica, and we help people save money, get out of debt, retire early, help their kids go to college. And a couple things I noticed, I think it was Rachel that said resiliency. We are still in business. Our office is actually open. I live about 10 miles from the office, so I am still, even though we're not meeting personally with clients, I am still going into the office, doing a lot of Zoom meetings. And the thing I noticed about all the stimulus things and people struggling is all of my clients know this, but we recommend 6 months to a year worth of income saved up just for situations like this. And it's not just knowing the number, it's knowing how to do it. So one of the things I do is I teach people how to pay themselves first, how to put money away so that in a situation like this, they can go at least 6 months to a year. So if you know anybody that's struggling right now, I would love to get a chance to talk to them, see if I can help them with that. So Jim Maloney, Transamerica Financial Advisors. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. David.
Good morning, everyone. David Baer with PFA. Also, one of your membership directors for the Chamber of Commerce, along with Melanie and Rachel. And while it's a little hard to get out and talk to businesses, we are trying to do the best we can phone. Thank you to everyone who was at the ambassador meeting yesterday. PFA, basically what we have is a program called Living Life by Design. There's 3 things that can happen to a person. You can live too long, you can outlive your money, or you can die too soon and leave your heirs with nothing, or even worse, you can pick up a disease like COVID-19 and live, but your quality of life just isn't there. We have one plan called Living Life by Design. It combines all 3 and more, including a rider specifically for COVID-19. If you want more information on that, just give me a call. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, David. Alex.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, so good morning, everyone. My name is Alex. I'm with the city of Chino. I'm just hoping everyone's staying safe, hoping everyone's doing their part at staying home and kind of fighting together. I mean, we're on this together. Having that said, we do have resources on our website. I guess you can check out if you're a business in the city of Chino, if you're a business in the city of Chino Hills as well. That those apply to you as well. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me or Chris Kennedy anytime, and we'll be able to help you out anytime. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Vivian.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Well, we're doing business, but we're doing it a different way. Going to a lot of Zoom meetings. Houses are still selling. Statistically, maybe 3 months ago, there was like 49 houses selling in Chino Hills, and now there's like about 10 to 15. But people just have to get adjusted to it. We have Zoom listing presentations. We will either send one photographer in, or we have the homeowners go in to list their property. Then we just came out with like 5 different forms to protect all clients and all agents as far as the COVID. A lot of people want to sell their houses, just they don't know how to go about it. If you have any questions, also the 2 people out there in the lending, today in our meeting, we're going over the EIDL loan put out by the stimulus package. And I guess you can go to your bank. Do either one of your banks provide the application for the PPP or the EIDL loan?
Okay.
Nobody? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Well, it's a good program. Go to SBA and it's for people that are independent contractors and also for people who have small businesses.
Thank you, Vivian.
So everybody drink water, keep your mouth covered, and be safe. And if you can't, stay home.
All right, Terry, you're up.
Good morning, guys. Terry Fitch, Legal Shield Business Solutions. And this has been a very challenging time, I know, for all businesses, but quite frankly, the opportunity is here to learn to do business differently. I just want to promote Vicky's event tonight because that's a place to learn how to work from home. For me, it's getting acclimated to Zoom. I've actually done 3 to 4 Zoom meetings every day with clients or business owners. And I'm not an expert yet like Robert, but I'm getting pretty good. And it's a good program. So there's a real need for our services. A lot of scams going on, a lot of phishing expeditions out there. Be careful what you click on. And if you want to protect yourself, take a look at getting ID Shield or Legal Shield to protect yourself and your family and be able to get guidance and information through this really challenging time. So Terry Fitch, Legal Shield Business Solutions, it's not going to happen to me, is not a good plan.
Okay, great. And then you have somebody that's chimed in as Sidex, if that person is available. Going once, going twice. The next one on our list is Rhonda.
Deb, who did you say? I'm sorry, you're breaking up. Good morning, everyone. Gigi with Chino Commercial Bank. I am here to help you with those PPP applications, but not the EIDL. You can email me at gfix@chinocommercialbank.com and I will email you the application. But remember, some portions of this is forgivable, but not all, and it is treated as a loan. So it takes some time to do, and the banks are inundated with these applications right now. So please be patient as we're working through everyone's request for a Paycheck Protection Program loan. Thank you.
Thank you, Gigi. There's somebody named Sidex or Sidex on there if that person is available. Going once, going twice. Next person on our list is Rhonda. Rhonda, are you there?
Yes. Hi, good morning, everyone. Rhonda Brogdon here from Serpro of Chino Hills. And we are your local fire and water damage restoration experts. We also do mold remediation, asbestos removal, and currently we are doing COVID cleanup and disinfecting. So we're offering services from fogging all the way through wipe down for businesses or homes that have had someone who has had the COVID virus. So I'll put our contact information in the comments if anyone needs any assistance during this time.
Thank you, Rhonda. Drew.
Hey, good morning, Chino Chamber. Drew Sasser, personalized gifts for you. Your one-stop source for embroidery, screen print, promotional, and printed goods. I know everybody is wanting to buy all this great stuff to sell and help promote their companies. But remember, we're going to come out of this, and when we do, you need to be prepared. So if I can help you with that, if I can get you ready to go so that when the business opens back up and we can get back out there with promotional products and that type, I can help you with that. So give me a holler. Also, I'm doing face masks, and we transferred all of our embroidery stuff over to face masks, and Vicky's been sewing like crazy. So if you need face masks, you can find them. I posted on the chat, but I'll do it again. The address is masks, M-A-S-K-S .spiritsale.com. You can see what's available, and we can help keep you safe. So if you need it with your logo, or if you just want something new, call Personalized Gifts, ask for Drew. Thank you.
Thank you, Drew. John. John, are you there? Going once, going twice. Ann.
There you go. Can you hear me? Yes. Oh, good morning, Chamber. This is John with John Edgar State Farm. We're still open for business and addressing our customer needs. If your insurance agent has not reached out to you, you may want to think about going with a company that will provide that personal touch. State Farm has our customers, and there's things that are still in the works that are happening from the commissioner that are passing down to us. So if you have any questions about some of those items, don't hesitate to give me a call, 342-9603. I can put it here in the chat. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Ann. Okay, let's go on to Melissa. Melissa, are you there?
I'm here. Good morning, Chamber.
Good morning.
Oops, there. Oh, there we go. I'm on my phone. It's kind of difficult to navigate. At any rate, I'm very happy to be here this morning. It's lovely to hear all of your voices, even though I'm not seeing you in person. Just to give you a little update, as you know, many things are happening quickly with the county as well as in your own lives and businesses. Supervisor Hagman, as chairman, has a pretty visible seat on the Board of Supervisors and is very busy. And you know, the recommendations, of course, are still go out with all of the protections that we've all been getting used to, not easily, but getting used to. And now the county is starting to talk about not actually opening, but they want to have a plan. So the plans are being discussed on how to open the county so that people are served and are kept safe, and yet we can still have some sort of business format and things starting to open. So if you do have any suggestions on perhaps what might make you and or your business feel safe, please send me an email. The supervisor is looking for all suggestions and trying to take information back to him on how we should or how people feel the county should proceed with this issue. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Melissa. Melanie.
Hi.
Hello.
Good morning, everyone. Melanie Lorenzana, your local, going out, and the community is very thankful for that. We're getting a lot of responses about how much they are enjoying them even more right now. We're featuring some seniors next month that have gotten scholarships, and just highlighting some of the things that families are doing right now in the community with their family time. We target the best of the best customers, the ones with the highest discretionary income. So it's a great way to continue that long-term branding. And they're the customers that are going to be hitting the market as soon as it's open. So I'd love to reach out. I have a digital presentation now, and just share a little bit more about what I do.
Perfect. Thank you, Melanie. Really appreciate it. And Josh.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Josh Sun with Edward Jones. We are living in a special time right now, so I'm putting together a few webinars to trying to get some information out there, especially for families and businesses. A lot of us were on survival mode and trying to figure out kind of what to do right now, and also things that could set us up, success for the long term. For example, now would be a good time for family and businesses to really look at some sensible reductions to increase their cash flow. Also, there's some tax strategies that's a good time to kind of look at and implement right now. So if anybody has any questions about those, feel free to give us a call. We'll also put together a series of webinars to try to add some more value to the community. Thanks.
Okay, Josh, thank you. Did I miss anybody?
Ann.
Ann, we called you earlier, but didn't hear you. Go ahead, Ann.
Oh, hi, good morning, Chamber. Ann Heisinger here, Ann Heisinger Academy. I've been working with my clients on how they can pivot in the reality of where we are going to be in the next 60 to 90 days and some recovery strategies. For me, with my background as a registered nurse and a chief nursing officer, I've also started offering some other services, and one of the services is doing coronavirus education for businesses as they plan to reopen and how they'll be dealing with employees and with the public. I'm a prior infection control nurse, just so you know. I have a certification in that area, so I thought I would apply those skills. And then I'm also helping people with insurance appeals as a prior director of case management. I've got some expertise also in appealing services that insurance companies are denying and helping people get the services that they deserve and they need for their families or themselves. So that's done in the form of appeals letters to insurance companies. So those are some additional services that I'm offering. So I also am putting together a webinar that is going to be sharing some strategies for pivoting within the next 60 to 90 days as we hopefully recover from where we're at. So I'll keep you up to speed on that. Thank you, everyone, and keep reaching for your opportunities and step into your greatness.
All right, thank you, Ann. With that, we're going to move on to our speaker. Just a reminder that this is all going out on Facebook Live, so feel free to go in, chime in, share it from there, and when this is over as well. With that, I want to introduce our speaker. Our speaker is Kariann Voorhees. Kariann Voorhees is a partner at Voorhees and Rosloff Law Group, and she is here today to talk to us about Estate Planning 101. So Kariann, are you ready?
I think so. I got a lesson last night on how to share my screen, so we'll see if I learned anything. Okay. So I think, did that work?
It says you started. There you go. You're set. We're in.
So now I just need to, okay. EA, success?
Success.
Okay, perfect. So typically, so I'm Italian, so I walk a lot and I talk with my hands. So this is going to be interesting to sit at my desk and do this. So, okay, so I'm an estate planning attorney here in Chino Hills. Right now we are getting a lot of phone calls and questions. Obviously with the given situation, people are panicking. I don't want people to panic because this is really something that we should all be thinking about and we should all be doing in normal times, so that now during this time we can focus on what matters, our family. If we have a succession plan in place for our business and a plan for ourselves, then we're not going to be as stressed out. So hopefully I can teach you guys a little bit about what you need to do here. So in California, probate is the process of what occurs if you do not have an estate plan. So probate is the legal way in California that your assets will be distributed if you don't have your own plan. So you would go through a court process. Some people just feel that they need a will. A will does not prevent you going from probate. In the state of California, if your assets are over $166,250, you will go to probate even if you have a will. So a will is typically, for the majority of us, not enough to prevent probate. Probate is very time consuming and very expensive. Sorry, there we go. So the other thing about probate is you have fees that you have to pay to file your petition for probate. You have to publish, you have a lot of requirements. Also, the person that acts as your executor or administrator in charge has to get paid a statutory fee, as well as the attorney. And this is statutory, which means that the court says what it is, so it's automatic. And as you can see, if you have a home that's worth $800,000 or a value of your estate of $800,000, you're going to pay $19,000 to both your executor and the attorney right off the bat. So it's very expensive. There we go. The thing about a probate estate, what is included? So if you go through probate, these are the things that are included. The appraised value of your home. That's really important because you saw the statutory fees. So if my home is worth $1 million, but I have a $500,000 loan on it, for the basis of determining the statutory fee, they're going to take the appraised value of the home. They don't take off what the loan is. So you're paying a fee on that full $1 million, even though your heirs are only going to get $500, really less after closing costs. All of your checking and savings accounts, life insurance is included in your probated estate. Value owned in a business. So if you own a business and you don't have your business put in your trust or assigned to your trust, your value and your portion of your business will go through probate, which really will mess up your business. Stocks, bonds, mutual funds. The caveat is if there are things that go by beneficiary, meaning all my checking and savings account goes to a transfer on death beneficiary, or my mutual fund account has a beneficiary, things that are beneficiary based do not go through probate. So that is one way to avoid probate. But many people put a beneficiary on, the beneficiary passes away, and they never look at it again. That's something that would go through probate. The probate process typically takes 12 to 18 months, and the cost that you're paying the court in publication fees, notice, filing fees is approximately $2,000. And that's your administrator having to pay that out of their own pocket if they don't have access to the money. Which right now in this time, all of the courts are closed. So if someone passed away without a will, it could be, we're getting dates in October. So a family is going to have to carry the cost of their family member's estate to keep their home, their mortgage, their electric bill, everything until the courts are open. So it's really important to put a plan together so that your family has access to your money immediately and they don't have to go through a long court process. So a couple of pitfalls of not planning. So everybody knows James Dean. So he died at 29 without a will, without an estate plan. His entire estate passed to his father who had abandoned him as a child. And that's because he didn't do a trust or anything to get to choose who he wanted to inherit. So it goes by the laws of the state, which typically are to your parents first, and then your children. If you don't have children, it goes to your parents first. So he didn't have any children. So everything went to his father who he had no relationship with. And there's current ones, but I like the old ones. Marilyn Monroe died at 36. Her will left 75% to her coach with wishes for him to donate it to charity. He didn't have to do that. He could do whatever he wanted. But he married and died, so all of Marilyn Monroe's licensing fees, all of her money is going to her husband's second wife. I doubt that her family loves that, and I doubt that that's really what she intended when she wanted everything to go to charity. So if we create a plan for ourselves, we can make sure these things don't happen. One way that people think that they can avoid doing a will or a trust or anything is just by owning something with joint tenancy. I get it all the time from my clients. Oh, I own my bank account with my daughter. Oh, I own my house with my son. The problem with joint tenancy is that it's a legal way to hold title. So if I hold title with Rose to my house in joint tenancy, if I die, my house is 100% Rose's. She doesn't have to share it with my family. She doesn't have to do anything. It's hers by operation of law. So if my bank account is 50% with my daughter, and I say, well, when I die, honey, share it with her siblings, and she doesn't like her siblings at the time, there's nothing that can be done about it. So joint tenancy is dangerous because it can have unintended consequences, and that person may not do what you want with it. Also, it only delays probate. So if we hold in joint tenancy for a married couple, there's no probate on the first death, but when your spouse dies, it does end up in probate eventually without planning. So it only delays the planning you have to do, and you lose a step up in basis. So basis is what you're going to pay in taxes. So if I purchased my home for $500,000 and I sold it today and it was worth $800,000, I'm going to have a basis of $500,000 in capital gains. But when I pass away, I get a step up. So my value that I'm going to pay for my capital gains is going to be my date of death value. When my husband passes away, we get a second step up in basis. Joint tenancy loses that second step up in basis for you. And another problem is joint tenant problems become yours. So if you're sharing property with someone like a family member or a sister as joint tenants, her legal problems, her debts can become mine because your creditors have a right to go after the property, not just my portion. The other really important thing about creating an estate plan is not just for your death, but for your incapacity. We've heard from a couple speakers how we have this ginormous generation of baby boomers. People are living longer. The odds of us becoming incapacitated in our lifetime is so great. And many of us don't have long-term care, which everybody needs to talk about and get. But one of the things with estate planning is we have incapacity planning. So we're choosing someone to be able to take care of our finances and our medical decisions if we cannot. And through that, with an estate plan, you get a power of attorney, which delegates an agent the power to handle your financial transactions. So if you can't handle your finances, that person can. They also have the ability to handle your businesses. A huge problem is we run our business, we become incapacitated, what happens to it? So it's also really important. I also do succession planning, and it's very important to think about either who is your successor trustee that's going to be handling the business and who is your power of attorney. Do they know anything about your business? Because if they're going to step in and run it, we have to make sure that they know what they're doing. Another important of the power of attorney is the ability to sell a home and to fund your trust, which is a very important power because sometimes we forget to place items in our trust, and our power of attorney is the ability to do that during our lifetime. So your power of attorney is only valid, and your power of attorney only has power if you're incapacitated. If you pass away, the power of attorney has no power. Your healthcare, you also would have an advanced healthcare directive when you do estate planning, and that appoints someone to make your medical decisions if you can't, which is really important because if your spouse is not there, who do you want to make your medical decisions for you? And you want to make sure that you tell them your end of life directives. What do you want to happen? They're not good conversations, but I've experienced this so much in that just that document of your family member telling you their wishes makes your guilt and your decisions so much better instead of trying to figure out what would mom want. At least you know. So it's still a horrible decision, but you know that you're making it confidently because you've had the conversation with her. And then you avoid conflict. One family member wants to end life support, another doesn't. If there isn't an identified decision maker, everybody knows where that can go. And that just, you want your family to be able to grieve and make it easier for them. Not putting these in place will just make it way more difficult. And it takes away the guilt of making a decision that you know your parents wanted. That was my son a long time ago. He's 16 now, but that's when he was cute and not a snotty teenager. Another very important aspect of creating an estate plan is naming a guardian for your child. if you don't name a guardian for your child and both of you and your spouse pass away and your children are minors, a judge is going to decide who gets your child, which might be okay for some people, but I know way too many to where each of the family's in-laws believe that they're the better fit, and then the judge has to decide. The other problem is that if you're dying without an estate plan, your entire estate is in probate, so nobody has access to money. So someone is going to have to literally come up with the cash to file a guardianship, to name your child, to have control of your child, and then they're not going to have any access to your money to help raise that child until 12 to 18 months when a probate is gone. They're not going to have any idea of what you want for your children, any ideas. When we do our estate plans and people have minor children, we encourage and we have a little program that helps them to write things down. Who are their doctors? Do they have things that you don't know about, that you would want your guardian to know? Are there certain things that are important to you? All of those help. And it also just, again, gives you peace of mind. So if something happens, your children are taken care of. So a way to make sure that all of that is done, avoid probate, do incapacity planning, name a guardian for your children, is to have a living trust. A trust is just a legal document through which your assets are placed into a trust for your benefit and then transferred to your beneficiaries upon your death. That's the legal definition. Really, I like to think of it as it's an umbrella that we're putting over our assets to protect them. We're protecting them from probate. We're protecting them from unintended consequences, and we are saying exactly where they go and how they go there. And that's really important. There's tons of types of trusts, but what we're talking about today is just a revocable living trust, which is not an asset protection trust. When you put your assets in a trust, you're not protecting them from creditors, but you are protecting them from probate and making sure that they go where you want them to go. Irrevocable trusts are a whole different story, and there's all different kinds of them. There's life insurance trusts, charitable remainder trusts, special needs trusts, grantor needs trusts, there's NINGs, there's DINGs, there's IDGITs, there's all kinds of fun stuff. Most people don't need those, but there are benefits for them. So if you have a ton of life insurance, you might want to do a life insurance trust because it takes it out of your estate. Charitable remainder trusts, again, if you're charitable and your assets are high, that's something that you might want to think about because it, again, takes assets out of your estate so that you don't pay estate tax. And special needs trusts are typically used when we have beneficiaries that have special needs and that receive government benefits. But today we're really just talking about revocable trusts. A revocable trust is where a trust maker or a grantor or a trustee, which would be me or Rose and Kevin, that would create an estate plan. They would be the initial trustees. They would be in charge of everything during their lifetime, and they would be in charge of placing their assets in their trust. They would name a person that would take over the trust if they're incapacitated or deceased, and that would be their successor trustee. And then they would name beneficiaries. Who do they want to go the money? Where do they want their money to go when they pass away? This is very important as you can either, when you pass away, you can either give your money outright to your children, hand them a check, let them go buy a Ferrari or whatever. In my case, it'd probably just be a 1922 Honda Civic because they couldn't afford it anymore. But, or you can put it to them in trust, which is a protection which could provide some asset protection. And more importantly, you could put limits on it to make sure that they preserve the principal and only receive a portion later, throughout time. So maybe when they're, for instance, in our family, we have it to where at 25, they get a portion, at 30, they get a portion. And then when they reach 35, they can have access to it all. It's very important because one, California is a community property state. Inheritance is separate property. So we are going to protect it and make sure that it stays with our family instead of an in-law. And second, we want to make sure that they preserve it and they use it when they're financially mature enough to use it and not blow it. Far too many people that just blow through a huge inheritance immediately, and it's just not helpful. Taxes. One of the things that irrevocable trusts do and that we want to watch out for is the estate tax. So California itself, the state, does not have a death tax. So we don't have an estate tax, but federally there is. Right now it's $22.4 million for a married couple, but back in, I think 2001, it was $1 million. So now the majority of us don't have an estate tax problem. So a normal revocable living trust is helpful. But it's something to think about, and think about the fact that your life insurance, your business, all of that is included in your estate. Portability is very important with taxes. And what that means is that if I pass away and I haven't used any of my estate tax exclusion, so I have up to $11.2 million, that goes and is portable so that my husband can use it. So it just goes over. And that's something very important that Congress passed, and it really helps people because if I don't use it, I don't lose it. These are going to sunset in 2026, so odds are they're going to go back down to 11 million for a married couple and 5 million individually, which does change things for a lot of people, and it's something that we keep track of for our clients. We talked about the step up in basis, which is very important. When we pass away, we get a step up in basis for tax value of our date of death value, and that's something that's very important. The double step up in basis is our community property. We get a second step up in basis on that asset when our spouse passes away, which is great savings for our children because we don't have to have huge capital gains that they're going to have to pay on our assets. And the final thing with taxes is Prop 13. When we purchase a property, we have Prop 13 here. Thank goodness California kept it. There's exclusions. So our property taxes can remain, mine can remain what they are today. If I transferred in my revocable living trust, I don't get reassessed for that. That's an exclusion. And if I transfer my property to my children, that's also an exclusion. Or my grandchildren, if my child is deceased. So when we're leaving money to our family members and our houses and our real estate, the property taxes remain what they are when I have them, and they don't go up, which is a really important benefit when we're sharing real property with our family. And it's something to make sure you include and keep. Mistakes when people write a trust is that they forget to fund it. Fund it is simply titling assets in the name of your trust. So when we do an estate planning consult, we ask for a list of all of your assets because we want to make sure during this time, it's a time to make sure that we properly place the assets in your trust that belong in your trust, and the assets that don't belong in your trust, we make sure that you have a beneficiary and a contingent beneficiary. When I finished law school and started here and did our trust, I found out that my husband's 401k from his first job, the beneficiary was my mother-in-law. I have 3 children. And the beneficiary for the 401k was my mother-in-law because it was something that he left that job and he never thought about it again and never looked at it. That's a huge problem because with a 401k and all of the taxes, it's not like she could just give that to me. There's tax situations for that. So I would have missed out on a huge portion of our estate and helping my children because we had the beneficiary wrong. So going through things, we make sure that everything's funded and everything's proper. Another problem is people write trusts and then they put it in a drawer and they never look at it again. So they don't remember what was in it. They don't really understand it because it's a lot of legal jargon, and they never look at it again. So when they pass away, things aren't what they wanted. So we say that you should review it every 3 to 5 years. And if something major in your life happens, if there's a death, a divorce, a disability, maybe your beneficiary has changed and we need to make sure the trust is better suited for them. And where is the trust? A lot of people call us and say, we know our mom did a trust for you. Do you have it? Unlike wills that have to be original, trusts don't, but make sure that you know where your trust is. We give people a booklet and then a flash drive. And we always encourage people to send a copy of that flash drive to their successor trustee. We give them a letter to say, you know, send this to your successor trustee and then keep the book somewhere, and a location list to share with someone that says where all of your assets and where all of your important documents are. And the other thing is people pass away and successor trustee is saying, wait, I'm doing what? I'm successor trustee. They have no idea they're successor trustee. They have no idea about what's in their parents' estate or the trust. They don't know anything. So it's really important to let your successor trustees know your plan and give them an idea of where things are. Our trusts come with a location list, and it gives our clients the ability to write out where all of their important documents are, things that they would like their successor trustee to know. And that's why it's so important to review your trust, because your assets when you're 25 might be very different than what they are when you're 55. You might have added some, gotten rid of some. So we have to review things because it just makes the job easier. So when you do an estate plan, typically what it includes is a trust, a pour over will. A will is simply, the pour over will is simply there kind of as a grease pan to catch any assets that you forget to put in your trust and pour it over into your trust. So things might still have to go to probate, but at least we have the ability to have them distributed to our trust. A power of attorney, which is the financial power of attorney, appointing someone to make your financial decisions and handle your finances if you can't. An advanced healthcare directive, which gives your directive for end of life, and appoint someone to make your medical decisions. Guardian, and then we transfer your real property into your trust, and we transfer your business interest into your trust. Your business still stays in the name of yourself individually, but the interest is passed to your trust so that you can make sure that someone can run your business if you're incapacitated, or at least wrap up your business if you're deceased. And that's it. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, now is the time to ask questions. You can feel free to use the chat, and also you can unmute yourself and feel free to ask those questions as well. It looks like we do have some questions in the chat box. David, can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
I put mine in the chat box.
I am trying to get out of my screen.
Okay. Jim, do you want to ask it instead?
Sorry, I'm trying to get out of the screen.
Yeah, I can do that. It's I just got off.
Oh, you're fine.
The line. I was curious about the quit claim deed. What are the advantages and disadvantages of transferring property in that manner?
Okay, so quit claim deed versus what they consider a warranty deed, right? So a grant deed. A quit claim deed is without the warranties. I'm okay with it in some respects, but really, I don't think we have any title people here, do we? But typically, it's really all about title, so there's no warranties. A grant deed has all of the warranties that go with passing a deed, and a quit claim deed doesn't. Does that help? I could go into all the warranties from real property if I could think of them all. Warranty of habitability, where all the warranties that quit claim deeds don't have. So typically, sometimes people will do a quit claim deed to transfer the property from them into their trust, and that's okay. But if I'm going to transfer property to someone else, I never want to use a quit claim deed because title may not ensure that. They want the grant deed.
So Carrie, I got a question. This is Terry.
What about a transfer on death?
So those are allowed in California now, transfer on death. And honestly, I have never personally done one because I really just do the revocable living trust, and I don't encourage that because, again, sometimes that just goes to one person or two people. But transfer on death is a way to avoid probate that's new in California, a couple years new.
Terry Fitch, I got a question. When you look at looking at the size of the estate, you mentioned that for consideration, your life insurance policy would be considered for the size of the estate. Is that correct?
Yes.
So if you have no assets, but you have $1 million life insurance policy, then that's going to hit that's going to be over the 166,000 and required to go to probate. The will won't work.
So beneficiary, if your life insurance is properly beneficiary, it'll be okay.
Okay.
Because life insurance actually passes to our beneficiaries free of taxes.
But
so that's why I said if we have things that have a beneficiary on them, we avoid that.
in your statement, but the life insurance policy, the $1 million policy, you say is consideration for evaluation of the estate, regardless of
if it's going to probate. Yes. So in a way, so what typically occurs and how that would be considered in your estate and go to probate is if I name my spouse and I don't name a backup because my children are young. So my spouse dies first and then I die, that $1 million policy becomes part of my estate. If I named a backup beneficiary, it wouldn't go in probate.
Okay. So if you have contingent beneficiaries, you're good.
Yes, contingent beneficiaries are very important. Any other questions?
Yeah, we did have some more questions. So if you have your question, I think Anne, do you have your question ready to go?
Wait, I'm sorry, you're going out.
Anne, do you
I
have
had one on the chat screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
So what can you do to ensure that Gallagher? So what can you do to ensure that your trust is ironclad? I mean, how can you avoid it being challenged in court?
Are you saying challenged by like a beneficiary or challenged by who?
Right. Yeah.
By a
the
beneficiary.
conditions of the trust to beneficiaries be challenged. Go ahead.
So the truth is, you can't really do anything to ensure it's ironclad because even good trusts get challenged sometimes because of beneficiaries and because of family dynamics. But the important thing is to make sure that your trust is clear. So it's your wishes and it's clear. It's important to make sure that you review it every once in a while because those are the things that tend to get challenged. Is I cared for mom towards the end of her life. She said she was going to change this. She never did. And then there's a fight. So really just making sure that you're clear in what your wishes are and that your wishes stay the same and reflect any changes. Truthfully, anybody, we know this is a litigious world, anybody can challenge anything just to be a jerk, really. So it's really important to make sure that when we do our estate planning meetings, I always ask about the dynamics of the family, dynamics of the siblings, because I want to know that. Because if they're telling me that they have two siblings that hate each other, or they gave $100,000 to one sibling and the other one's mad, those are things that I know that can come back after they pass away. So we address them and we talk about them and we put them in the trust. So it's really about getting the proper counseling that's going to notice the pitfalls and the things that could occur to make sure you're covered. But you can't plan for everything, unfortunately. Is there? Sorry.
Anne, you had a question? Anne, you're on mute.
Okay. Hi, Carrie. Ann Heisinger here. Was just wondering what's the general cost of a trust? I know it depends on how much stuff you have and all that, but if you could just give kind of a ballpark, that would be helpful.
Sure. So our trust typically the way that, so we say a married couple, they typically start at $2,400. And the things that would make them more money than that would be the amount of properties. So if there's multiple properties, it would be increased for those deeds. Sometimes if there's a business and we have to do business planning and business succession planning, the price can increase. Because when we're doing your trust, I also do business succession planning. So I want to make sure that as we're doing the trust, we can also plan for what happens with your business, because both are equally important, because so many people, their business is the majority of their wealth. So about that, and for a single person, it typically starts at $1,800. However, those are just general and they can change and be far less or far greater depending on what the needs are.
Mm-hmm. So we have several rental properties. So for each property, what are you looking at in terms of costs added on to the trust? Just kind of a ballpark again.
Ballpark, typically we charge $120 for each deed in California, mostly because California charges $80 to record that deed.
Oh, okay. Okay, awesome information, Carrie. Thank you so much. This is really great. And I'm one of those people that does need to get my trust redone. So thank you.
And we had a
Yeah,
question. We had a question from our.
That
Facebook-
question,
Go ahead, Robert.
is that the same for a review?
No, you know, I review trusts for free. I review for free.
Okay.
I shouldn't say that live on Facebook.
Yeah, don't say that.
But I do. I review for free. Because a lot of people don't know what's in there and they don't know what they don't know. So we let you know what's in there, and if you need something changed.
So
and then
what
we'll
would
go.
be the method right now? Would it be a visit to your place, or I leave
Okay,
the
so yeah,
trust
that's a great
outside
question.
and leave it in a plastic bag and you?
So right now I'm doing Zoom calls, phone calls. I also have a table and the ability to meet outside. I have gloves and masks. So we have a table. We can also go outside if it's nice. Zoom. If someone wants me to review their trust, I say you could either drop it off. I have a little slot in the doorway, or you can email it over. Either way
Cool.
works. But we have glass, we have gloves, we have masks, we have plenty of disinfectant, and we have the ability to meet outside. You know, I had a client, I think they're insane, but they're 85 years old, a couple from my church, and I met them outside in their backyard. And the sun went away, and the gentleman said, "Let me go get you a blanket." And I said, no, I'm fine. Don't you dare touch anything. I had my gloves and my mask on, and it's what they wanted. And I kept, every time they came closer to me, I kept scooting back. So, you know, we're doing whatever. I have the ability to be safe. So,
yeah.
Carrie, we have one question from our Facebook audience, and I'm not quite sure if I'm phrasing this correctly, so I'm going to ask it and just see if you can figure out what the intention is. It says, the business transfer of power is specified by the directive? ?
business transfer and power. Okay, so I think they're talking about business succession. Transferring the interest in your business is something that we talk about in an estate planning meeting, but it's not something that's in any of the estate planning documents. If you own a business, you need to have a succession plan for your business. So if you're a corporation, that's going to be a buy-sell agreement, your operating agreement if you're an LLC. But it's important because you are transferring your business interest into your trust so that you're appointing a successor trustee that can handle your business if you're incapacitated. So it's really important that sometimes we have successor trustees that don't know anything about our business. So we might appoint a special trustee that would only handle the business. But you would not necessarily provide who's going to succeed your business in your estate planning documents. That's a separate document, but they all go together, if that makes sense. I can't have one conversation without the other because we want to make sure that you're completely prepared. I hope that helps that question.
It does. So thank you.
Jim Gallagher is the host now.
Are you guys, can you guys hear me?
Oh, there you are. You're back.
Yeah, sorry about that. I think my internet cut out intermittently. So thank you, Gary, for the presentation today. Thank you all for joining us. One of the things we like to do at the end of our Business at Breakfast is give a chance to say thank you to folks in our chamber for doing business with one another. Does anybody have any kind of those announcements? Give kudos for someone you've done business with or somebody that's helped you out recently?
This is Jeff. I want to just thank you, Zeb, and the chamber for your weekly Tuesday update with all of the local leaders and stuff. They're very informative, and hopefully everybody is joining on those calls.
Thank you, Jeff.
This is Jim Gallagher. I second that. I think they've been outstanding. You're bringing a sense of community here. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jeff. I'll give a couple. One of the things that we've had an issue, or one of the things our Chino Rotary Club decided, we had a $10,000 fund that was set aside for emergency relief efforts. So we figured there wasn't a better time to use that than now. So our Rotary Club decided to use that to purchase PPE equipment for hospitals and other similar type organizations, hospitals, senior living facilities, and our first responders. So we're making those purchases. We've gone through different outlets, but we are using Razel. We are using Drew, and so they're helping us out in those efforts. So I want to thank them for helping secure that equipment and giving us good deals on those. Anybody else? All right.
Hey, Deb, this is Jim. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
This is Jim M., not Jim G. I also want to thank Carrie for the presentation. I have personally witnessed what Carrie does. I've given her a couple of clients that she's done excellent with, and you really need to have somebody like that you can not just refer clients to, but when you have questions and things, when it has to do with trust, she's definitely an expert, and I highly recommend her.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Okay, let me give you some brief updates on what the Chamber is doing. Some things that I just want to make sure that you all are aware of. Tomorrow, one of the things that is available, which some of you may not know, is that we offer the ability to do webinars like these through our system. So if you want to educate business owners on something, that's something that you have the ability to use with our Zoom. If you're interested in doing something like that, we had one of our members reach out to try and host one for tomorrow. So tomorrow it's going to be like IT solutions. They're going to teach you how to work from home, how to set up your systems so that you can make sure that working from home is convenient. And so for those companies that have employees that are working from home, or you yourself is working from home, this is supposed to help answer some of those questions and create solutions that might make it easier for you to work from home. So that's going to be tomorrow at noon. So we sent out an email about that already. The other thing I want to make sure that you're all aware of is on our website, we have 3 different resources we've compiled as a result of this coronavirus that's going on. We have our coronavirus update page where we're giving all the information that's related to businesses in the Chino Valley about how they can take advantage of those PPP loans. I will be sending out another email later today on that. So if you're not on our email list, you need to be. So there's about 15 updates I got here that I'll be putting up to date, and I hope to get it out sooner rather than later. We have our restaurants that are still in operation. So our restaurants that are offering takeout and delivery services on our homepage of our website. So please share those. One of the things I see a lot in those group posts is, hey, I want to support local business. How can I do that? And as chamber members, I'm hoping that we can just share that resource to have everybody use that as the tool to shop local, to shop at our restaurant, our member restaurants, and go from there. There's also a page of all businesses that are still in operation. So if you want to take a look at, hey, I want to support local business, these are businesses that are still in operation. You can take a look at that page, which is also on our website as well. Let me mute that real quick. And then and also, so this is also going on Facebook Live. We do share these up on YouTube as well, so you can go watch these in the future. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, you should. That's where we'll have all the videos. So if you miss one of these, you can go back and check out Kariann's presentation later. It's also available on our Facebook Live. We also started a Twitter account, so if those of you that are on Twitter, I encourage you to check that out also. And I think that's kind of it. So from a Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce perspective, I want to thank you guys for continuing to participate with us. There's a lot of good things that we can do for businesses. I know a lot of businesses are facing a lot of challenges right now. So the fact that we're all here together and offering your support to help businesses and also be a part of this is fantastic. So I want to thank you guys as well. And I think we'll officially adjourn for the meeting today. Thank you, Carrie, for the great presentation.
You're welcome. Thank you.